How to solve linear systems. Let's get it. So whenever we have an equation which has two variables in it, so you can see in this case, we have the variable y and the variable x. This means that we need more than one equation in order to solve for y and x. So in this case, we have two equations right here, which means that we have a linear system. So we have two equations, we have two variables, and we have to solve for y and x. And basically by solving for y and x, we will determine our point of intersection. So what that means is basically these two equations right here are both linear equations, so they both are lines. And when you graph them, there's going to be a point when they intersect. So we're trying to determine that point. And in order to determine that point, we have to solve for x and y. So in this case, one method we can use is called substitution, which basically means we take one equation and we're going to substitute that into our second equation right there. So our first equation right here, we can notice that we already have one variable all by itself on one side, and that's the variable y. And then for our second equation, we also have the variable y. So all we're going to do is we're going to substitute in that first equation into our second. So what that's going to look like is we have x plus 2. And for our y, we're going to substitute in our first equation. So that would be 2x plus 1 equals -8. And then now we're just going to solve for x because we only have one variable now. So in this case, this would be x plus 2. And we're going to multiply in each term inside the bracket. So that's going to be 2 times 2x, which would give us 4x, plus 2 times 1, which should be 2. And that would equal -8. And then finally, we would have x plus 4x, which would give us 5x plus 2 equals -8. And then finally, we're going to just send over that 2 to the other side. So -8 would become, the plus 2 would become -2. So -8 minus 2 would be -10. And then finally, to get rid of that 5 on one side, we're going to divide that by 5 on the other side. So that would leave us with -2. So our x there is -2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that x and we're going to substitute that back into our first equation, which is y equals 2. And then for x, we're going to substitute in -2 plus 1. And then we're just going to quickly solve for it. So 2 times -2 would be -4 plus 1. And then finally, -4 plus 1 would just be -3. So now we can see that x is -2, y is